Hey guys, Daniel from DePIN Hub here, and I have Tom from Fluence, one of the main organizer of DePIN Day here in Dubai. It's 40 degrees outside, quite chilly inside, but it's actually pretty good once you go outside. Thanks for being here. Thanks for organizing this. Actually, I remember I've been to a few of the DePIN Days events. Like I think started in Singapore was the first one I did last year during Token, and then I was in Hong Kong during like Consensus. Actually, was really good as well. This has been fantastic. And one thing that I would like to talk to you about is like when you guys started this idea of DePIN Day, and actually it's been helping a lot the ecosystem. How's that going for you?
Listen, it's this is our 11th DePIN Day. Wow. So we've done a lot of them. I think we've had 130 speakers. We've had probably 3,500 or close to 4,000 people attend in-person events in 8 countries. So it's been a big effort for the team, and it started with our launch in February of 2024 in Denver, and we wanted to do an IRL Fluence launch where we explained what Fluence was, had the token go out. We wanted to make it not just about Fluence, but make it a bit more ecosystem focused. So we decided to do a DePIN Day and a Fluence launch, and then we had a great attendance, and we realized that was something that the community really would value and was really interesting to the community. So we just kept doing it. And we were lucky that we have on the team the expertise to do this. In particular, Nadia, who is a fantastic events coordinator. We've ultimately taken it and kind of made its own team, its own thing. And so it is it's a real effort. There's full-time people associated and working just on this. But we're happy to do this for the DePIN ecosystem.
Absolutely. Actually, I was there in Denver last year for the first DePIN. I wasn't sure it was the first one, but it was a great event. And then it's like see you guys build. I didn't know there was so many as well. It's such an important event, I think, for a small DePIN ecosystem right now. Like crypto in general, it's small. We breathe and live crypto. It feels bigger, right? Like, but actually, if you get out of this bubble, it's like, okay, it's small. And then DePIN also is much smaller. And DePIN, I also think it's like a really, really hard problem that people are trying to solve. You have Web 2, you have Web 3, you have business models, you have so many, you have hardware a lot of times. We definitely need some events like this to actually help people get together. We see from these events, founders know other founders and help each other, community get to know. What are the things that you've seen coming out of these events that you think that you remember?
Well, I guess I would say is that one thing that is really seen in DePIN is the ability to collaborate. And you kind of touched on this a little bit, but DePIN is less of a one. It's almost hard to put it as one sector because you have telco, you have storage, you have compute, you have flight tracking, you have mapping from cars, you have drone this, right? Like, so what does a drone mapping company have in common with a file storage, right? Like, hard to say, but yet they also need storage, right? So maybe there's a partnership potential. So there's potential for these companies to work together in a lot of ways. And we are seeing joint hardware ventures go on where there's a hardware device that actually serves multiple DePIN projects. We've seen that. We've seen people use other DePIN as service providers. So we've seen a couple of those happen. And what I love seeing, it's a bit annoying sometimes, but you come here and there's a lot of people talking and there's people presenting.
Yeah.
But people are so interested in connecting with other parts of this DePIN ecosystem that inevitably they're going to be talking and networking with each other, which doesn't make the speaking sometimes a little bit difficult, but it just shows the interest that people have. And that's kind of probably why they come, is to collaborate and talk to everybody else.
And I see, especially on DePIN Day, it's kind of like all the founders, everyone is like building, sharing expertise, sharing like knowledge and struggles, right? A lot of the time. And I got to know a lot of the project people that I've only talked online, for example. And then like during Token 2049 here in Dubai, a lot of times I'm talking to someone, I couldn't manage to find that person. Like, you're going to be at DePIN Day. Yes, we're going to be at DePIN Day. It's like, it's the one place that you know that all the founders is going to be there, because when you go to like a conference, there's like the main event, there's a side event. It's really hard to catch up with people. But I think DePIN Day end up becoming like the one source of truth that person is going to be there at some point during the day.
There's about 3 different sentences you said I got to put on our website.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, without a doubt, it's a one source of truth. It's where the founders are going to be in DePIN. Like, these are exactly what we want it to be. But again, we're just doing it because we started. But we would be happy to share this with more. By the way, we couldn't do it without the sponsors that help make each day break even. And so that each day is about break even for us. Sometimes not, but usually that's great. And that's thanks to the sponsors that help do it. But we're still doing the whole overhead of all this, right? A full-time team doing it. And so ultimately we hope that other community members join us in contributing this kind of space at these different conferences for the benefit of the DePIN community. That is really the hope that I have, is that we can kind of decentralize or push this out a little bit further.
Like the DePIN Day DAO.
It'd be great to have a DAO. Let's start with a couple of the projects that can write checks for a couple of years or a year, and then we can take the next step.
And how that goes, yes. I mean, I guess could even at some point become like a little bit like a profitable project as well, because to make it sustainable, to be able to hire more people, to maybe to grow. Like I would say not as a company, but like if you have people making money from this, they are like full time working on building a massive event that could become actually its own event.
It could. And listen, I think, let me phrase it 2 ways. I think that as DePIN itself scales, that is very possible, no doubt. But I'm more of the idea that this should be run for the community without a desire to take money from the community.
Yeah.
Right? So I much prefer to take just as much as we need to get this, keep it operating and cover the overhead, and not try to extract money from the community, right? Like, so that's why I'm it could ultimately be a for-profit, but I think that is not our objective or vision. It's just more to have this be more of a collaborative contribution.
Yeah, I mean, when I say about become profitable, I mean, be able to pay those people that are going to be working full time for that, not just like as one company taking profit out of the event, right?
Right. No, exactly. Well, yeah, we are. They're getting paid. It's just paid by us.
Exactly. So it would be nice to have more people, more participants in a way that you guys don't need to. It's net even or zero or something like that. But
that would be the idea.
And keep them growing as well, right?
Yeah, for sure. We had 2,000 RCPs. We had 420 or so people here, 430. Like, this could be, if you think about where DePIN could go, this could be double that size in the next year.
And how has the growth been so far? Like, you guys started, last year. Have you seen growth, and how has the feedback been on the
growth? I think the first one we did around our launch at ETH Denver in 2024 had terrific attendance, and so that was in the order of 400 or 500 people.
Yeah,
and so I think that has been the number that is most have averaged. We've had a couple that were smaller than that. There were a bit more community events, two in particular that were almost more round tables, if you will.
Yeah.
But the last ones we've had have all been this size. Hong Kong was significant, Denver was significant, Bangkok was big, and so was Singapore, right? So it's been pretty consistent in the 400 to 500 attendee range.
Amazing. What is the biggest learning that you had by starting this initiative?
I think the biggest learning was the benefit of the people connecting and talking to each other. And I was excited to learn from projects presenting and talking. And I thought that would be the big draw. And it is a draw, but it is, as you sort of mentioned and implied, it is the interest that people have and the value that comes from being in the same room with all the other founders is hard to replicate.
Yeah.
And that's the cool piece of this, I think.
And that's what make you ever be super excited about coming to the DePIN event, become the side event if you work anything related to DePIN.
That's what we've been building, yes.
And also in a way to not just the founders, like we need to also maybe pull people from outside of the DePIN ecosystem to bring, because I think I was talking to someone like, oh, should we try to DePIN Day with AI? But like, oh yeah, there's a lot of hype around AI. How can we also get more people from Web3 into DePIN through this event?
All I think that has to happen is the tokens have to go up in value.
Everything goes crazy.
As soon as the tokens are moving, and that means as soon as there's revenue or tokens are going up, everybody want to learn a lot more about it.
Yeah.
So I think we just keep doing what we're doing. As long as these projects are growing revenue and they're using the revenue the right way, I think you'll see tokens move and everything's going to follow there.
Yeah, I think that's happening actually. Like GeoNet, for example, is a project that we use a lot as an example. That they're doing like very sustainable growth, sustainable tokenomics. It's not like 100x,
Right.
but they're doing well, right? Especially considering the current market situation.
No doubt.
Because they are doing proper ways, like, and also building real businesses with revenue.
Yep.
Right. And then we see more and more DePINs focus on that, not just like some kind of like Ponzi-nomics or anything like.
Correct. I mean, that's the whole point here. That's what my token economics report that we spoke about before is all about, is what token economics are really optimized for tying token price to traction into revenue.
Absolutely.
I think that the DePIN is both generating revenue, and the right tokenomics should drive significant appreciation.
Yeah, and I like to talk to founders when it's like, okay, we're building a real business. And I do think that in a lot of DePINs, the Web3 aspect is a small percentage of the project, and it's not 100% of the project.
Yeah, I'll phrase it differently, which is that a lot of the founders that are successful DePIN projects come from or are experts in the sector they're in, and the crypto piece is second added on.
Yeah.
And the couple of projects I know, I can't remember if I mentioned this before, that have gone out of business so far have been founders that had come in from outside the sectors they had kind of attacked. And then they ultimately didn't know them well enough and the projects didn't work. But the expertise in DePIN, founders in their verticals, is I think what makes it pretty interesting and pretty compelling.
Like I was interviewing Luis from Mawari today, and they try a lot of ways to make their project work, and they realize that they need some sort of decentralization to make it actually scalable. And then from them, okay, actually there's this thing called DePIN. You're going to leverage this, but not because the other way around. Like, okay, I'm a Web3 degen. I see the DePIN is it's growing. I'm going to find a DePIN project to build.
No, 100%. Exactly right.
Right? And how do you see the DePIN Day growing the next future?
Listen, we got another, next one is in Singapore. And then we'll do one in November in Buenos Aires around DevCon. Okay, that'll be exciting. Hit South America, get that continent on. And then we will see kind of what the schedule is for next year. But I think we'll have at least 6 this year. And maybe we add another one, we'll see. But that's the plan at the moment. And, I think we want to do a similar number next year as well. And I think, if this industry keeps growing the way we think it is, the demand should only increase. So excited to keep it going and keep being a kind of the go-to place for DePIN entrepreneurs, founders, providers, and investors to get together and meet in person. And we're going to use your quotes on the website.
Let's go, of course. Well, I just want to thank you so much, you and everyone else here that's trying to make this event happen. I think it's like a super, super valuable event to help DePIN grow, as we are working, 7 days a week to make it sustainable, to make real things. And thank you a lot for organizing this and making it a reality.
Great. Listen, thanks for coming, participating, and doing a record number of interviews today. Really appreciate it.
Let's go.
Tough job.
Thanks
so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.